Hi there, Sifu Slim here, and I'm going to talk to you today about prevention. And how cool is that? So, we've got all kinds of athletes, and I've met countless athletes, I would say thousands, who have told me that they've got hip, back, neck, etc. problems right now. You can even see it in their posture. These are people who are former athletes and wanted to continue on with the path of athletics at some point in their life. Maybe they left it for a year, maybe they left it for 30 years along the way, and then they want to come back. So what I'm finding with these athletes is that their system, including the mind, including the spirit, has broken down over time. But they want to go out, take their tennis racket, and go back out and play with the same mentality and somewhat the same skills that they had the last time they were playing, which may have involved like a high school team where they had a coach, where they had a chance to learn personal training type things from the sports center at their high school, where for the last 15, 20 years they've been doing foam rolling. They've been doing physio balls and balance and agility exercises, functional training, stretching, dynamic stretching, all these wonderful things, resistance stretching. So the last 20 years they've been learning that stuff at a very young age, maybe even in middle school if you were on a traveling team or you were in ballet or something like this, martial arts. You learned a lot of those things. I learned it way back in time. In my high school, where I graduated in 1981, we had a very highly evolved sports training center. So we didn't do foam rolling back then, but if you went from my school to Asia, for example, and you learned acupressure, you learned qigong, you learned the healing arts, you would have learned something like that. So it's been around for thousands of years. And one of the examples I like to give is, let's say you've got a cowboy in America coming from Texas, and he's on a roundup all the way to Chicago, right? If this cowboy was stiff along the way, wouldn't he have gone out and found a fence post, a log, a wall, a stump, whatever, and done some stretching? Because that made him function for the journey. You can't just keep on your very stiff position and expect that to get better. You're going to fall apart and not be able to continue the ride, which means your job, and now you have to go all the way back to where you started. So big mistake. So a couple of things about prevention. I'm going to give you some examples real easy. This is a case for glasses. So when do you put this on the glasses? Do you put this on the glasses after they've already been scratched? Or do you put it on in a preventive way before they get scratched? As every use goes right back in here, right? Here's another example of one. This is a hat that has sun protection on the back of the neck, and it's got a clamp with an elastic string to keep it on your head. Take a guess what this could be used for. Any of the water sports. You could use it for wakeboarding. Prefer to see you with a helmet with something like this for wakeboarding. But you could use it for river rafting, canoeing, surfing, boogie boarding, stand-up paddle boarding. Okay, that's what this is for. Do you start putting this on after you've already got sun damage? And there's one right there. I've got to go in and get that checked, and I'm waiting for a call back right now. So I did a lot of preventive stuff, but having lived in the sun and outdoors for a long time and being of European descent, Northern European descent, I do have some things at just about age 60 that I need to have attended to. So another thing that I'm going to share with you. So here's my stick for acupressure. It's a stick that I would like to see it a little bit taller. This one goes to armpit. I would like to see it go shoulder high. And I put a towel over the end, and then I wedge that in to a wall, and then I press in. So just like the physical therapist's elbow or thumb or other technique stick type thing that they may have, I can press in with a stick, and use my body weight to press in and change the angles. And I can do my whole body, starting with the pocket line of the jeans. That's where you start. All those great nerve and connection points right there. And you can do that in 20 minutes to an hour and hit your whole body. You can do your neck at the end. So, you can learn about staff acupressure. I'm going to put a video out soon about that. Or you can have an appointment with me online so you can learn that. I can coach you through it, and you can record it. So you'll have that to use for the rest of your existence on this planet. So there's some of the things I wanted to talk about, and I meet coaches, sports coaches, tennis coaches, golf coaches, etc., who don't do any of those things that I said, the therapeutic and the maintenance-oriented exercises, don't do any of those things. And then they come out and they give you lessons. Let's say a golf instructor might be standing for 8 hours a day. 6 is a lot, you know, to be standing and then demonstrating things. So you've got your entire body weight, which oftentimes people are getting bigger with age. So you got this more massive structure on your spine, and you're leaning down, showing people things 8 hours a day. And then you're going to go home and do some raking, wash your car, cooking, whatever. So you're doing all this standing, and you're not teaching your body how to do things like the McKenzie stretches, where you're, instead of going down on your computer and your piece of paper and your desk and your cooking and your eating and your typewriter and your computer, blah, 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 typewriter back in the day, now you're getting this opened up twice a day. Well, no, not twice a day, 2 stretches, 5 times a day minimum is what I do. So the McKenzie stretches, I'll put out a video on them, but there are many videos on the internet about how to stretch backwards. It's very simple, very simple. So those are the things that I suggest we do. And I had a tennis instructor the other day who's got some ailments in his body. And I said, you want to learn some of these things, acupressure, resistance stretching, core exercises, functional training exercises. And he said, well, yeah, well, tell me about it. And I said, well, put it this way. If you can't function and you're 80 years old instead of 60 years old, do you want to wait until you're 80 to learn this? And he said, no, I think I should learn that now. So that's what I'm suggesting you do, is come out and learn these exercises now so you can continue on your journey with some functionality and some wellness and some health and all those good things. So that's what I'm suggesting that you do, so you can continue on your journey and enjoy it and do some maintenance. You can't just go out and play lacrosse or basketball if you haven't done, I mean, the 12-year-olds are doing it, the 28-year-olds are doing it, the 33-year-old older NBA players are doing this. This is what they do to be able to handle their schedule of travel and high-impact sports and a lot of sitting and those types of things. So that's what they're doing. Why wouldn't someone who is sedentary for the most part do those things as well throughout their aging process? So why would you just want to keep playing sports but not do the training and therapy that the coaches and the trainers are teaching you when you're in that sport, when you're in their care? They teach you all those things, and you do it, and it's mandatory if you're on a team or if you want to survive in a league. You can't, you know, a lot of people just wait and they go into the orthopedic specialist and they say, oh, I need a knee brace or I need a surgery. Well, they've been playing tennis without doing any therapeutic things, maybe on a hard court for 20 or 30 or 40 years, and now they're broken down and they need these larger interventions. So that's what I'm going to suggest you do today, is pick up my books, The Aging Athlete at theagingathlete.com, Sedentary Nation at sedentarynation.com, and Raising a Child Athlete, ? Things You Need to Know. That's book 3, and that teaches you how to raise young people with mindfulness, balance, recreation, and joy. And those are the things that I think will be really fun for you in your walk. And I'm out here whacking tennis balls And I say that whacking, I should say I am using my functional skills that I've learned recently in tennis to do drills that are not breaking down my system. I'm not just going out and whacking. I am using these drills, and some of them are very fluid, very fluid drills just to get everything working. And that's what I'm doing, and that's very sustainable. And at age 60, the body appreciates it. You don't want to do whacking for an hour and a half. You want to go out and do smooth things in your practice, and then when you're ready to play more competitively or do more competitive drills with more running and more quick movements and quick stops, then hopefully you're ready for it. But you have to keep listening to your body, because if you don't, you're not going to know when to stop. And I always stop ahead of the injury and the tear and not after. I've always made mistakes. We all do. But you don't want to do it on a repeated basis, because that's going to break your system down. So remember those things we talked about: prevention, maintenance, and care. And it's the same way you take care of your house or your car or your vehicle or your bicycle. You take care of it, and then you use it. Aloha. I'm Sifu Slim. Please like, thumbs up, and please subscribe. And connect with me through my website via the contact portion of it. In case you want to have a private session, we'll jump on Zoom and do an hour, hour and a half, and I'll clue you in on some of the things I do and I've learned from many other people, the Yodas of the world, and I'll pass that on to you, and you can pass that on to others. Aloha from the tennis courts today. Big hugs. Wishing you all the best in your health, happiness, and wellness.